Hi everyone. How do you balance the tension between being on guard for every sort of scenario while at the same time focus on the mission and vision of the organization? In other words, how can you be both protective in one sense and external in another? This is one of the big questions that leaders face when considering the implications of risk management. Here in Module 8, we explored this concept of risk management in nonprofit organizations. And while much of risk management lies in the financial realm, there are other domains where nonprofit leaders must consider. The way to mitigate against risk, of course, is defining what needs to be addressed, combined with good planning. Now, the core concept of risk management is loss. That is, how do you prevent and reduce loss? That loss is generally focused on finances, which is under the area of property and equipment, but the loss can also be in people, in staff, board members, and even donors. The Zeitlo text in Chapter 14 outlines several areas of risk and gives specific examples of where loss could take place. I encourage you to review the chart to familiarize yourself with additional aspects of risk. Given that ultimately risk is managed by the leaders, namely the board members, what are the methods by which the board and other leaders protect the organization and themselves? First, of course, is establishing practices that guard against risk in the first place. In thinking about processes and policies, what types of actions protect, say, against financial risk? Who signs the checks? Who gets to count the money? In terms of people, what about their safety? What types of benefits do you offer to keep their compensation package competitive? In terms of the physical plant, what about fire protection and disaster preparedness even? What about in the legal environment with ethics? These are all very good questions to ask, and the more comprehensive, the better. One thing to consider as a board member when addressing risk is to think about the responsibilities of the board and how they can protect themselves. While one easy way is with directors' and officers' liability insurance, think of this as the overall umbrella, and what is also needed is to think about their own set of management policies and procedures. In another class, I talk about crafting a board recruitment manual, but what about incorporating some policies in there as well on liability and legal and financial responsibilities? These policies could also be part of an overall financial procedures manual. I encourage you to think about such things not just for the long term, but as it is the main focus of your third paper, which will be due at the end of next week. In the next module, we will discuss issues of ethics, accountability, and transparency in finances. What are some of the best practices that ensure that these things take place in the financial realm? We'll take a look at some examples of evaluation, and then of course prepare for submitting your paper. One thing that I do want to mention is that next week, on Thursday, I'm offering a lunchtime webinar on something pertinent to our class, titled Dollars and Difference Making, the Philanthropically Minded Nonprofit Leader. I'll explore what are some of the leadership capacities needed in nonprofit philanthropic efforts. I'll post a link to this in this announcement, as it is from noon to 1 p.m. Pacific Time. It's free, and I hope you can make all or part of it. Well, that's all for now, and I will see you all online.